So do you want to set the scene? What's Lionel up to? He now has access to Quinn's archives. In fact, she will open this up by sending him basically the diagrams for the matchmaker, so he can just print one out, all the tech and everything, and she'll let him know that she's got to patch it because like it's not working right now, like it's not perfect, and she's just like stressed about it, but it's still pretty fucking solid in the state that it's in. So he can now use the matchmaker to talk to people, and basically, unless somebody's standing in the room or puts a bug in his room, nobody's hearing what he says on the matchmaker, or finds the transmission and patches into the transmission going out into space. Nobody can hear or see anything that he's doing when he uses the matchmaker. And she explains that like once she gets all the technology, she's like looking for people who can help her get like make her vision real. This thing will be impenetrable. But for now, like just still use caution, right? But yeah. And from that, he can go through her entire archives, and he can find basically any old Earth knowledge you need or want him to know is there. The archivist NPCs just like brought basically everything they possibly could that would be narratively important for any of us. So even like the most obscure shit is in there. So that's what she sets Lionel up with, and then she explains that like people can contact him through the matchmaker, and the messages will be saved on the matchmaker. And then she just bids him farewell, says they'll talk again, and she heads off because she's got things to do because she's got to keep working on the matchmaker to refine it. And then, like a couple days later, I don't know, he gets a call on the matchmaker if he prints it out, which I assume he does, because who wouldn't?
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he's even looking over like sort of whatever notes are available on it.
Okay.
When he gets a call.
So yeah. So what? Like this thing is meticulously organized. Like this, Quinn's got undiagnosed OCD. This is ridiculous, right? There's like tags. Everything is tagged. You can like browse by tag. There's music. There's like lore. It's literally like there's like whole Wikipedia articles. It's like you know just like it's encyclopedias. It's just like all kinds of shit in here. Just like whatever. It's obscene, and it's all like meticulously organized and tagged so to make for ease of access. Like the only thing that I guess basically makes it difficult is it's Quinn who tagged it. So it's Quinn's biases to say, oh well, this is talking about this or this is talking about that, right? But even in that, everything has multiple tags. Like she's trying to like compensate for the fact that she has a bias, right? Like, oh, this is about clowns, I guess, but it could also be about circuses and things. So it's like just a million tags. But yeah, so then like the call comes through the matchmaker as somebody's dialing him through the matchmaker.
All right, Lionel answers.
And the vid screen pops up on the matchmaker, and there's a rat person sitting there, a dark brown rat person, like in a chair, looking very haggard, and she waves.
Oh, good. That seems to be the right button. Hello. I take it you're the person that. Would Lionel be referring to her by Quinn at this point? Would she have given him
Yeah.
a name?
Call her Quinn is fine. Quinn or default, but Quinn has just been basically demanding he call her Quinn.
All right. You must be the person that Quinn told me about.
Yep, that would be me. For now, you're gonna have to call me Scald, but I hope as we get to know each other better, we can know each other better. This is pretty one-sided because I know your whole name.
Oh, yes, and I didn't think of a particular name for myself either, so there's that.
Uh,
I would say I should be perhaps worried about deliverance, but this device actually seems fairly secure.
It'll only get better if I finish this thing that I'm working on right now, which you'll get the privilege of knowing about once I discern where you align. I'm not with Deliverance.
I see.
You've got some files from our benevolent shepherd, Scowl, Melior Lambret, at a meeting you had recently. I learned about it from Velius. You're
Well,
looking through those files. I hope you get some answers.
you already have those, I see.
I do not.
Fair.
I need your answers.
No, no, no. I meant the files. I was going to give those, but if you already have the notes I've taken there, that's all well and good.
But I don't.
Oh, okay.
And he hasn't, I don't know if this is happening on the 15th yet or not. She's more telling him, when you find it, please get it to me, right?
Yeah, we'll say this happens after that, just for
For
ease of having information.
yeah, ease of having information, yeah.
Let's just have 5 different conversations before the information actually gets in.
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, the transcript of that particular meeting might be of interest to you.
It would be.
As for the results of my investigation afterwards, I've not yet shared them outside of even this room. But since you're with Quinn, I suppose I can trust you enough to hand them over.
She smirks and rubs at her face and says, "Isn't it kind of absurd that we're trusting the vetting of a 16-year-old girl?" But yeah.
Well, the Hex girls in general seem fairly trustworthy.
I hope so. They seem to be real, at least for now. Hopefully they maintain as such.
Of course, of course.
It can be difficult to stay the course as life keeps throwing temptations at you.
Yeah, I understand that, but my old rule of thumb before I was in this position was always trust your employer, and, well, this is a little backwards, but I believe the same rule applies. Give trust in them until you can't, more or less.
Who is your employer, Lionel?
Well, at the moment, I guess it's me. I'm the head of Boundless.
She smiles
but
at that. I see. It is good,
I am-
indeed, to be one's own boss. And she starts browsing really quick. Do keep talking. She's browsing, like she's visibly browsing on her end.
That being said, I've taken measures to reduce the power of the head of Boundless, merely because, well, I'm just the head. Everybody else specializes. I feel I should be more beholden to them and work as a tiebreaker to a certain extent when I can.
I see. Perhaps reflect a little bit more on the unique circumstance that you are in. The enviable circumstance that you are in, to be honest. And she sends you an image of a class from a video game. It reads, The Masterless Man attributes the Masterless Man shares some characteristics with the Pilgrim and the Flying Woman while being distinct from both. Like the Pilgrim, the Masterless Man wants a higher purpose, but unlike the Pilgrim, he has not found it. Like the Flying Woman, he is autonomous and possesses a powerful will, but the Masterless Man is not free by choice. He is often someone who has lost his purpose, either empirically or through disillusionment, and now seeks a new one. Some believe that the Masterless Man archetype began in Japan as the Ronin, a samurai whose master is dead, leaving behind a servant with no one to serve. In traditional fiction, the Ronin wanders the countryside battling bandits or working as a mercenary. In the United States, whatever that is, Lionel has no idea what that is. A similar fictional trope. Similar fictional trope is the Western gunfighter, which maybe Lionel also doesn't know about. We don't know what Lionel's browsed on the matchmaker, but this information is there if he wants it. At the core, the Masterless Man is suspended between conflicting desires. He serves the forces of order, even if it's cruel, or totalitarian order, in which he has no place. He longs for the justification of a higher purpose, but is too pragmatic and suspicious to dedicate himself like the Pilgrim. It's the chaos that fights chaos. which is why the gunfighter Aronin always dies or moves on at the end of the story. His skills have protected a civilization, which has no place for deadly wanderers.
Hmm. Well, I suppose you have quite the knowledge base, don't you?
Well, she does, doesn't she?
And you're quick to act on it.
It's, I guess I could say it's cultural. We Nimish love information. We can't get enough of it. I've been rabbit holing in this damnable thing for months.
I'll admit I'm a little dull. Most of what I've been checking is just cross referencing with the notes I took when I was in school, and indeed, her archives do match quite a bit of what we have, only I can access it.
Yeah, she's got her hands on some stuff that I didn't even think could exist. I don't know. It's my well. I mean, hopefully you get the metaphor. You gotta be careful which master you serve, how loyally you serve them. Being your own master has its perks and its unperks. She smirks. Merits and flaws. Let's go with that.
Drawbacks, yes, I see.
But my approach to things, what I desire, is not so much something hierarchical, where there is such things as masters and those who serve masters, but more that we all become our own masters and masters of each other. That we are a concept that was taught to me by people thought extinct, guided and guiding each other.
Hmm, I see. I would have just said anarchy and called it a day, but I must admit I've never heard those terms in this particular context.
Well, anarchy implies a lack of order, a lack of guidance, but not a lack of purpose. So I agree.
Yeah. It is often theorized that anarchy is a decent endpoint for humanity, but, well, having to sail across the stars sort of set that back a bit.
We'll find ourselves again. She starts scrolling through the transcripts. Huh. Ew. You, you boundless people barely said anything. Though you understand the power of silence. She smirks.
Well, saying things in the heat of the moment might not always be the best idea. Of course, I deferred to the representative I brought. Ruth is trained in that sort of thing, and as such, they're the ideal in that situation.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to. Nothing, the flaw of uh, Quinn's archives is doesn't have information on current people. She doesn't do that at deep state whatever crap. She doesn't keep files on anybody in here. So I actually don't have the privilege of knowing anything about this Ruth person that you've mentioned, but I don't know if that's pertinent to helping me understand things better.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's a discussion we'll have when it comes up.
Understandable. Yes, this transcript it looks like they're blaming the Common Front on the sabotage of the Shepherd's Crook. She smirks. Of course they would. Your report though, you know who was really behind it, don't you?
Indeed, and I'm sure you could have guessed that being a little closer to the situation yourself.
She laughs. Ah, if only you knew how intimately close to the situation I was. And she winks.
Well, I suppose in the moment I didn't much concern myself with you. I could have guessed that perhaps you weren't as close to deliverance as they might want, but mostly I thought of the Hex Girls. I don't. To see the common fronts besmirched in that meeting was a little painful. I'd expected that they weren't behind it, and looking into it, Deliverance did a good job cleaning up, but looking at the reports, it is quite clear that there's no way the Common Front could have done anything.
Indeed. And looking from this, it almost, if it's not the Hex Girls, it was Deliverance itself, wasn't it?
Indeed. But I don't know who to deliver the report to, or at least I didn't before now, because, well, I can't just give that to Deliverance because who knows how they would take it, considering they covered it up in the first place, but giving it to Common Front would just lead to some argument, best case scenario,
You.
violating the NAP worst.
Yeah. She like gives like a sympathetic look of, ooh, that is not an envy. You are no longer in an enviable position. Congratulations. we uh we share mutually unenviable positions, comrade.
It would seem so.
Yes. They yes, revealing this to the common front would just make them break the nap. And you busted your butt to even get this nap in place. And believe it or not, this cool down period has been greatly helpful with my organization, for lack of a better word, and its goals. We stumbled across some entities that Deliverance has been using. She sends you footage from Quinn's stream of the Hex Girls fighting the Bleak Horrors. These things, she like taps the screen. They're not beasts.
Hmm. Then what are they?
I don't know. I'm trying to get them to tell me. But as you can tell from the stream, and she like plays it, the Bleak Horrors don't make noise. Remember, I mentioned this. Like, they make no sound. I can't figure out how to speak to them because they don't appear to speak back.
Yeah, that is quite unnatural. At least the silence parts.
But what
Hmm.
I'm saying is, there's something weird going on with them. And Deliverance is using them as, like, soldiers, frontline soldiers, and it's not good. And they're, I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna be working on something with them. But here's the thing: as she goes back through the data that you sent her, the person that is most likely to get blamed for all of this is this guy right here. And she sends you, like, just shows you Velius's dossier. This is General Velius. I don't freaking know his last name. I don't think Sussurrar have last names. They just know who each other are. He's a good guy, but yeah, he was there at the meeting. You might not have recognized him because he was wearing a mask. They wear masks when they are coming to fight.
Hmm. I see.
He, I need his help with this, and in the future too. But there's no way he can't get blamed because, and she says, here's all the links that show that it was him, that it could have been him, that you happened to find.
So I thought this was a rock in a hard place. Turns out it was actually two rocks in a hard place. Hmm. I doubt we have any other avenues to pin this on.
I've been scouring this. I can keep scouring it. I can get back to you if you want. But probably maybe have Quinn look at it too. She's got a crazy galaxy brain, but probably not. Velius needs to die.
You're not actually thinking of just letting him take the fall, are you?
I don't see a way how to not. What I do want to do is ensure he survives that fall.
Well, it's still a tense situation. Bit of a relief knowing that you're not just going to let him die. Had me worried for a moment, but always trust your employer. Right, so how then do we go about this?
Well, it's difficult. Here's the thing. The way I see it. This is, by the way, not me trying to become your master. You're your own master, or you have your masters. You have your complicated master situation, right? More offering the way I see it, and we can negotiate this and figure something out. The Boundless isn't exactly bound by the NAP, which means Boundless has more liberty to do whatever, and I'm sure you're already taking initiative on that. Though Meliora in these transcripts did effectively marry you to the NAP, you didn't make any agreements in the NAP on any of the behavior that you could or couldn't take. That gives you a lot of wiggle room in regards to technicalities and semantics.
Indeed. General Ulysses has been traveling quite a bit as of late. I don't want him to get in an out-and-out fight, but...
So, look, I can do what needs to be done to make Velius disappear. I just need a place to send him and his family. And your group is looking like the safest bet.
I certainly have no arguments against that. We'll take any fugitives you might have. That just begs the question, how loud should the situation be?
I'm gonna have to figure out when to even do it. We need to act before other entities act. Velius is in a very desirable position. He's Meliora's personal bodyguard and one of her highest ranking generals. There are many people in the universe who would see that as an enviable position that they would want to fill for themselves. I'm certain you're familiar with some of such individuals.
I could give you a short list, but...
I bet you our lists have a lot of overlap.
None of which, of course, you would want to see filling that position.
Unfortunately, I don't see any other option. Either we keep him alive, or one of the people on our list takes him out and takes his place. He's dying either way, the way I see it. But if we kill him, he doesn't actually die, and he can still serve the purpose.
Tell me more of these bleak horrors. You say they act as frontliners for deliverance, but they remind me vaguely of something else Quinn has been recording.
Oh?
Strange... I don't even know how to refer to them. Their coats don't even have one particular color. They sort of shift. They're strange. Well, at first we knew them as
You're talking about the
slime.
slime. Yeah, the ooze. She's been showing me images of the ooze. Yeah.
It's more than just ooze now, but it is something we've been looking into, but
I have to be
hmm,
honest with you. I try to keep up with her stuff, but those videos are like 3 hours long, and who has that amount of time in the day to go back over those over and over and over again? She doesn't. She barely does any editing. She should really get herself an editor.
I don't know how much could cut down that could cut down because, of course, you know, it's all the rage these days to add in some extra material.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, my point
And
is,
really, people are just going to come in for the fights, which doesn't help us much, does it?
nobody's going to listen to this pilot log, Lionel. They look at the fourth wall. They look back at each other. Anyway, what I'm saying is I haven't watched the latest stream, but she did excitedly message me through this device that they're evolving. I don't understand how somebody could be excited about that, but Quinn always seems to be the type to rise to a challenge and see it as an opportunity to better herself.
Hmm. Well, what I'm getting at is these things are strangely behaved. They are chaotic when needs be, but they also act with a certain amount of order at other times. What about the bleak horrors?
Yeah,
They are usually puppets, yes?
they have some sort of, they network with each other. Well, the technology that Deliverance put in them, it taps into this natural inclination they have to network with each other and allows Deliverance to hijack it and control it. So she
Hmm.
forwards it over to you. This technology is probably the same technology used or similarly used with your oozes, whatever you want to call them, which means Deliverance and who's ever making these things are researching together and sharing research.
Hmm. My next question is, have they ever escaped their leash?
Well, we're about to find out if they can.
And if they can, well, Ulysses has been investigating the oozes. If he happens to be by and perhaps causes a few more explosions than one might expect, that wouldn't be too out of the ordinary, would it?
I don't. I mean, if this galaxy lights up, which I mean, it's just if it look, Lionel, that nap's not gonna last 3 months. We'll be
Of course,
lucky. We'll be lucky if it lasts 1.5. But
but
this galaxy's going
perhaps,
up. It's getting. It's This is becoming a very cool zone. Go on, Lionel.
but
I'm sorry.
well, it wouldn't violate the nap to chase our own battles, and well, I'm sure Deliverance would appreciate at least driving away some loose beasts of its own. It's just hopefully they don't lose anybody they particularly care about in the meantime.
Mhm. I see. Yes, that was what I was thinking about doing. Coming up here, she's learned on 1020. She'll actually tell Kovanen about what she's learned about the Bleak Horrors. So
Hmm.
this probably happens just a bit before 1017. So I'd say like around 1016 is when Svava calls him, because like basically the very next day, 1015, 1016, Svava calls him. Because on 1022, she heads off to emancipate the Garat. I'm going to be heading with Velius to the planet, the Garat's home planet. We found it. Um, it's called Velan. I don't know what that means, but go them, I guess. Anyway, we're going to be heading to Velan with a bunch of ships, and we're going to get as many of the damn things off that planet and away from Deliverance. We're going to rip the tech out of them, and we're going to see what happens when they're free. And if Boundless happens to be in the same area, then there's a chance that maybe Velius doesn't make it off that planet. because the bleak horrors or some other unfortunate incident kills him, but in fact, he just disappears into your protective custody. Is that something that could be arranged?
Of course, I'll inform General Ulysses of the situation. He's a little stubborn at times, but he's got a good heart. I'm sure you can trust him in this situation.
Trust is hard, but it's one of those things where you're given that devil's bargain of having no choice but to. So far, it's been a pleasure to be trusting you and trusted by you.
Likewise.
You should know. Bless the common front. She rolls her eyes, but they've got their own nastiness to them, as does Boundless. In my opinion, the lesser of two evils, even when the biggest evil is so overwhelmingly evil, is still choosing evil. I'd like to start choosing good any day now, Lionel.
Would that it could be so easy, but some people don't want that to be in the cards.
Well, she brings back up the card of the Masterless Man. Let's, Quinn's always talking about video games. She brings up Simon Belmont. Vampires need to be killed, you know?
I get that a lot, but it is technically a different Belmont. Mine's with an E. They are actually different origins.
He goes down the long history of how his last name came to be Belmont. And it's also pronounced Belmonte, so stop it.
Look, all you need to know is that it's Italian. Belmont is... Those particular Belmonts are more from the Transylvanian area.
What's Italian? They'll break down and have a pleasant conversation about what Italian is. And then go back to talking business. Though it's nice to have, Svava will comment, it's nice to have just a brief moment of pleasure in all of that business talk.
It is. This conversation, of course, is mostly about food, but anyway.
Mm-hmm. So she goes back in and she says, once it's done, just get back in touch with me through this thing. I'll answer if I can. The range on this thing needs to be improved. I often, because of how I've positioned myself in Deliverance, often like the periphery and other far-strung areas of the galaxy, staying off Deliverance's radar and acting as far as they're concerned, a spy for them, getting information on the periphery and these edge worlds and their conditions and their viability for, she makes air quotes, liberation. So, it can be hard to get messages to me. But you can store them in the matchmaker, and once I get back into reception, once I'm no longer roaming, I can just listen to them.
I see. This thing is quite handy.
If these creatures, these bleak horrors, are what I think they are, we're going to be able to give this thing that Quinn's working on some kind of ungodly range.
Well then, for your sake and hers, I suppose, let's hope that hunch is correct.
Yeah. Is there anything more you needed? Thank you for this, by the way.
Honestly, I'm just relieved to have passed on the information I've found.
Yeah,
It's been quite stressful just having that and not knowing what to do with it.
Well, I've given you some ideas on what you can do with it. Ultimately, when we do this, Velius is going to get blamed anyway, and somebody's going to take that position. Somebody we don't like. I would recommend we both take the time to figure out how we maneuver to react to that. I have my prediction. the numbers don't lie. I've taken the polls, and I have my idea of who the most likely candidate is, and it's her dad. I'm pretty sure the Butcher of Gale is coming back into business.
Yes, to be honest, I was slightly worried about that when I learned of Quinn's actual name. Just knowing her father was out there and kicking was distressing.
She's rubbing at her chest in like discomfort, and she says, "You don't." And Lionel, I hope you never experience how hard he kicks.
Indeed.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure. She smiles. Since this thing is pretty damnably secure, my name is Svava Juror.
I see. Nice to meet you, Svava.
And nice to meet you too, comrade. Stay determined. And she ends the call. On 1017, Quinn calls him via the matchmaker. And so that's what we'll set up. So what is he doing at, oh god, I don't know, 4:20 a.m.?
Sleeping, probably.
Well, matchmaker rings. It makes a blip and goes off.
Lionel just sort of like wakes up groggy, sort of paces around the room back and forth until he finds the source of the ringing, then just taps the button.
And so the screen pops up, and it's Quinn again, as she's talked to him before. She's blasted out of her fucking mind, and she's still smoking, just like the first time she talked to him. And she just looks at him forlornly, and she says, "Hi, Lionel. Everybody else is busy."
That's probably because he just looks back and forth. Dark o'clock out.
Yeah. Lionel, you were mentioning something the first time we talked about me fighting in this war. She like says the word war like contemptuously. What are your opinions on me fighting in this war?
Well, not super keen on soldiers in the first place, but you're 16, I think?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I won't be 17 until March.
So, yeah, that's a little bit underage.
Is it, though? I mean, I get it. You adults, she rolls her eyes. You don't like it when people get involved in things that you see as adult things. And I'm not gonna disagree that fighting in a war is definitely more of an adult thing, and that children, young people, shouldn't have anything to do with it. But war comes to you sometimes, Lionel, and you have to fight it, regardless of your age.
To a certain extent, yeah. But, well, we're not at war yet, so, you know.
Maybe you're not. And she, like, looks away, but I am.
You, doing alright?
Not exactly. Whether or not you're okay with it, you don't seem to be, which is fine. You're allowed to have your opinions. She like kicks, kicks at the back of the seat like a kid would, like in a car that's bored of the car ride, right? Certain people aren't okay with it. People who matter a great deal to me. And other people in differently important people are also not okay with it. She scowls. But I need to fight it. I need to fight in it. And not just this war, but the war that's coming, that we all know is coming. And I guess, Lionel, who made these so called adults, these experts, these fuckers, the judge of who gets to save their world? This is my world too. And I have just as much right to be fighting for my world, and I'm doing my best. She fumes really angrily.
Well, I mean, you certainly got a lot more purpose than a lot of people on Athena. A lot of people on Athena just get into mechs because they want to have fun for a bit, you know? Shoot at each other, blow up big mech parts.
I'm not gonna lie, getting into a mech and shooting at each other is fun as hell, Lionel. But sometimes it's also serious as hell. And yeah, when I do it, I'm doing it for fun. But I'm also doing it for serious. And yeah, I fuck up sometimes, but I'm just a kid. She takes another drag from her blunt. What's their excuse? She slumps back in her chair, like, it smokes really hard.
If I may ask, you said you wanted to protect your world? You don't. Maybe I misheard you. It is very. So late, it's early, but tell me if I'm overstepping, but you don't literally mean your own world, do you?
It's my world too, right? I'm trying to protect everything. I know the people that matter to me, the places that matter to me, the things that matter to me, all those nouns, proper and improper, that matter to me. The world. It's mine too, just as much as it's yours. Mine to fight for, mine to die for.
Your world expands a lot more than just your own planet, though, is what I'm getting at.
That's correct. My world is big. It's the galaxy. It's perhaps the universe. And it's everything.
I don't wish to misstep again, but please be careful about that mentality. It's certainly heroic, and I understand it, but
Have you ever been in love, Lionel?
I've loved a lot of things. I don't know if I've ever really felt romantic love, but, you know, I've loved the people I've worked with, the people I've met, people I've spent idle days with.
It's. I'm pretty sure it's largely a good thing. Can't. I mean, there's always a bad side to this kind of stuff. Always that sharp edge. But I am in love. And she like stops for a minute and she's like blushing and squirming. Lionel, what would you do for love?
Not enough, I suppose.
She scowls. Yeah, it's never enough. And
You will have to forgive me, if I'm dancing around the issue a bit. I'm just remembering a conversation I had with someone I knew a while back.
Oh, do you have sagely adult advice for me? Hold on, let me get a little bit higher for this.
Oh god, I wish I could help in this situation, or I might have answers for you. No, there's someone a lot like you. They want to save everything. And at times it seems like they even can. But there's only one of them. There's one Cinder in this whole universe, and they are our only Albatross. But no matter how strong they are, they're alone.
No, she's not. If she's fighting for that common purpose, she's not alone. Sure, she can't be everywhere at once. Nobody can be. You're right, there is only one you. But there's infinite potential us's. There's this quote from a video game I played a long time ago. And she pulls it up. A small stone may make but a ripple, but someday it will become a wave. Now, dude who says this is kind of a bad guy, but not really. Eventually he does. My point is, he's not bad until he becomes bad, and it's good advice from a bad person regardless. When you're out here fighting this kind of thing, I've realized as I do my thing that I'm not alone anymore. But I was alone for a long time. And I didn't realize how alone I was. How whoever associated with me was fake. Just trying to show me what they thought I wanted to see. And give me what they thought I wanted. And it was only getting here, she gestures around the Flavor Town, but at like the general space station of Flavor Town, that I started to meet people who weren't just putting on airs and trying to get in my good graces, and who I didn't have to perform for either. People I could be real with. And I had been being this other person for so long, Lionel, that I'd kind of forgotten who I was. But now I know what it's like to have a taste of that thing that I didn't know I was missing. Hopefully your comrade Cinder Crush, whatever she is to you, finds hers too. She's the Twitter person with the hotness, right?
Yeah, it's fine. They go by just about anything. They is just our little thing.
Yeah, they, with the hot Twitter. I'm not allowed to follow that until I'm older. They even have the little no 18 thingy on their bio. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, even if I'm not comfortable with you fighting, it's clear you are better off where you are than where you were.
I think so
If
too.
taking up arms in your own name is, well, it's anything better than taking up arms in your father's name.
I'm still making my way through his dossier. She says glumly. It's huge.
I'm sorry. Yes.
This is like, I don't know, it is 45,705 words long.
Yes, his article has a longer list of war crimes than his upbringing.
Yeah, I'm not even done with it. We'll see. I'm just about to get to Gale. I've heard. I'm about to find some lovely stuff. She glowers. That's not the person he showed me. He never raised a hand against me, barely raised his voice to me. Just anytime I showed up and asked for something, he'd give it to me. It seemed kind at the time, but I'm realizing it was just to get me to go away.
Perhaps I'm not in your situation enough to say this, but, well, for him it is a matter of convenience, and you said you had to be a different person in order to survive, I guess. We'll cut to the root of the issue, but there is always an element of self, even when you're putting on airs. The only airs you can put on are your own, so the default persona is, too, a matter of convenience.
I hope.
It was a good way to distance yourself from him.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it what I want it to be instead of what it had to be. You say, we don't do enough for love. I'm gonna reflect on that. We should do more. We should do more. We should do whatever it takes. She's not even talking to me anymore. She is like so angry. She looks like she's on the verge of tears.
I see. I suppose then that it's not just a simple matter of heading down planet side and giving flowers.
I don't even know if she likes flowers. I want to know so much more about her. She shares so little. She's always being watched.
Ah, so she's there then. That is quite the situation then.
I'm glad that more people are benefiting from this thing. And she pats the matchmaker. This bad boy can fit so many secret conversations in it. She says, referencing a meme that Lionel might not even know.
That one might elude him, yes.
But I'm making it for her. So she and I can finally talk and get to know each other. I managed to get out of my hell. It's only right that she get out of hers too. That everybody get out of theirs. You know the thing I hate the most about Deliverance? That they took that word and they made it mean something so awful. Because I really want real deliverance. Those fuckers just want obedience and servitude and submission. And she just like goes off on a long list. She like pulls up a thesaurus.
Well, that's part of the point of a cult. But I know you're in a rough spot now. And again, I don't have all the details, but the fact that you even had an argument is, in its own right, a good sign.
What do you mean?
You've been doing deep dives. You must have done some research. You understand the phrase love bombing, correct?
Is that a Tokimeki Memorial thing? I know what bombing is in Tokimeki Memorial.
It's it doesn't have to do with cults all the time, but it is a cult tactic, which is to say, you always present a warm image a happy image, and you try to entice somebody by always looking appealing.
Oh, am I doing that? She's like, she's too high for this.
No, quite frankly, the considering certain propaganda I've seen crop up from time to time, the fact that you're using drugs is perhaps not that. But you and this person you love had an argument.
Right.
That you had the argument means from their end that they're not trying to do that to you. I They have your trust, and if you trust that trust is reciprocated, then know that they won't stay mad at you forever.
I don't even know how to get her to talk to me again. But
That, of course, is the difficult part, but
well, the good news is she can't not answer if I call her on official channels. But if I call her on official channels, we can't talk because she's being listened to.
hmm. Yes, that is the complex part.
It's
It
kind
is
of
always to consider whether or not you should make a move or draw back for the time being.
she scowls. I'm not a do nothing kind of person, Lionel. I never have been. But it's not lost on me how messy this situation is. It's kind of like falling in love with the barista, right? Like she can't not be nice to you.
You
You're just
have
there, and she has to be nice to you. And she can't just say fuck off when you start flirting with her and write your number on the receipt. She just has to take it and then throw it out later. I don't know how much she wants this and how
have
much
you
she's being the barista.
have you used the matchmaker with her?
I've set it up with Skuld. She's getting high. She's making mistakes. My crush, person I love, can only really have these real conversations with me on Skuld's ship. And Skuld does a lot of running around for deliverance reasons and more secret reasons I hope you're aware of.
I forget that you said this is after that, right?
Yeah, this is after that, so he does know. more
She's
legitimate,
high
more,
enough.
yeah, more
He'll
legitimate reasons.
I don't want to alarm you, so don't you worry, I'm aware.
Good. I'm glad she's talking to you. I was hoping you two could be friends.
So, but you have had the conversations with the matchmaker, yes?
Yeah, we've had a couple.
And that's probably how this argument came about in the first place.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's almost like
So,
this is making it worse.
so, at the very least, you've seen each other at your worst. Now, how to proceed? So, hmm, well, she won't answer you through that. Perhaps, perhaps you be as neutral as possible and go through the watch channel. Naturally, of course, it's still kind of forceful, but while it is watched, she understands your mere presence. She'll see, she'll hear you, she'll talk to you, and even if it can't be the most honest conversation, it'll be acknowledgments. You're putting yourself out there that you are ready to talk, and I'm sure, of course, you won't be able to talk there, but I'm guessing this is a smart girl. She'll probably get it.
I hope so. I. as soon as I get this damn thing done, she, like, kicks at the matchmaker again. We won't have to worry about this anymore. I mean, we will, she'll still have to go to a place that isn't, she'll have to do it with Skull, but still, we won't have to worry about this anymore. We could just talk and all kinds of other stuff. And you're gonna, this thing's a mess, Lionel. And I've got some weird, great ideas. Just like whole VR stuff. We just like go out and do mini golf or bowl or something. I wonder if she even knows what bowling is. It's boring, by the way, Lionel, bowling.
Yeah, I don't get it entirely.
Anyway, I just gotta get this done. I'll try and reach out to her if she doesn't get back to me by, I don't know, the 19th. And then I'll go just call her through an official channel and be like, hey, go see the shrines and do some prayer. It would be good. Goodbye. I'm leaving now. I'm sure that will go over really, really well, and she'll absolutely listen to me.
Well, it's just a matter of showing that you're putting your hand out there and waiting. And if this is going to work, then she'll get back to you in any way she can.
That's the hope, right? She doesn't seem like a person with much hope left. If she has hope at all. But it's a start. Thank you, Lionel, for the motivation. What are you gonna do?
Oh boy, that's quite the question. Well, I suppose our mutual friend Svava could fill you in a bit more on the details, but I've gotta go
Kill a man!
move some people around without anyone noticing.
Ah, you're gonna do a magic trick. Up close magic. You're gonna make.
Yes,
You're
that's
gonna make.
not something I'm particularly good at, but, well, we'll see.
You know, everybody starts off really, really bad at things, and they get better by doing it, and then they eventually become really, really good at them. You might not be good at magic tricks yet, Lionel, but I'm sure with enough practice, and God knows you're gonna get it, you'll make yourself disappear. You could make yourself disappear. I think it'll be the better way she could word that.
I've been a strong proponent of learn by doing, but, well, I guess if the need calls for it, I suppose I'll have to get better at it.
We 1% jackasses have this slogan, fake it till you make it. It actually does reap dividends, Lionel.
Yeah. Yeah, I just sort of get that aura when I'm around them. Oh, God. Oh, speaking of which.
Oh, are you going to the Chimwell?
Oh, you know about that too.
Have you seen the guest list?
Oh, yes.
So
I
you're
have.
So you're gonna be there?
Let me tell you, I am there because I need to be.
Same. Look, Lionel, when I'm there, I'm not gonna be me. So please don't be offended, okay, by anything I say or anything I do about you, around you.
Of course, You can't be your true self, so you have to take the pieces you chiseled off and use them for cover. I understand.
And Lionel, about your crush, I assume, Cinder. Let her know she's not alone. Give her my number. She can print out a matchmaker too. Slap it in her Mac. We can talk. She can talk to a bunch of other people. We'll get her through this. That's the thing, right? We're all in this place, and we're trying to get to the other side of it. Not everybody's gonna make it to that other side, unfortunately. But we should all be doing our best to be one of the people that do. I sure
Indeed.
am.
Though, speaking of parties, on a lighter note, I do hope you're available for the second fall festival. It's my favorite. The Halloween party, of course, isn't the only party I'll be attending. I don't know if you'll have the time to drop by Athena again, but I could at least help out.
She
Uh,
glowers and she says,
please?
we both know I'm going to have to show up on Athena when my mom wins that election."
You know what? I'm going to say by dates, Lionel, like, even though I don't know when that's going to happen, Lionel is going to sit there for a moment and look at the council list and look back and be like, ah, so she's expressed an interest, has she?
Lionel, she's running. She updates his info.
We don't. We hadn't even gotten to vetting yet. Those haven't. Hmm. I hope you don't take offense to this, but I have a few too many Rieslings in my life right now, it seems.
I'm done being a Riesling. I don't want to be a Riesling anymore. Maybe she'll marry me, my crush, and I can just take her name and be done with this.
So, as I was saying, happier parties where we can forget things for a grand total of 2 hours. Halloween, it's great. We'll be able to dress up more, and we'll be able to just eat sweets and whatever. And you know, none of the Hex girls have eaten my cooking yet, so hey, I'll make you a bucket bread, or you know what? I'm in a pizza mood now. I'm going to make a pizza, I think.
Oh man. She sends you the Greg's pizza scale from Night in the Woods. There's no such thing as bad pizza. I'm always down. I'm a teenage girl, Lionel. I'm always down for pizza. You said the magic word. I will do I will do my best to be in a position where I can be me and you can be you and we can just hang out and be real with each other. I'm really tired of fake Lionel. Like not you fake. You are not you. I please understand how I'm very high.
Yeah, no, I think I understand. Well, this has been an enlightening conversation. Um, I hope I haven't been too much of a detriment. I'm not a therapist, but I try my best.
You know,
But
another
also,
thing
it's
that sucks about Deliverance, they
hmm
co-opted all the therapy. It's all abusive and shitty now. That's another thing I'm gonna have to fix. Every fucking therapist in the fucking galaxy goes through them. It's disgusting.
uh. So yeah, it's 5 in the morning, and I'm not going to sleep for the rest of the night. So I'm going to do stuff early. Hmm, it's probably not going to get you in trouble if I share the list, right?
No, it's not gonna get me in trouble, and nobody, unless somebody checks this transmission and patches in, is gonna see this, or hear this, or know this even happened.
All right, great. I'm going to make sure the rest of the council knows about this.
You're not gonna be able to stop her.
Hmm. It is not on our hands, of course. The election of the Athena representative, of course, isn't in Boundless's hands,
Yeah.
because that's Athena's representative.
Mm-hmm. I'm too. One, I couldn't do it anyway. But two, I'm too busy with all this other stuff. I can't publicly act out, against my mom for capital R reasons. So I couldn't help you anyway. If you do try and smear her, she's gonna dig up dirt on you, and it's gonna be bad, and you're gonna need therapy. And all the therapists are owned by Deliverance, so just avoid that. There's got to be some dirt on her. I'll see what I can find and get to you through this thing.
Well, Boundless at least will hopefully continue to act as they will. The members have my trust.
I mean, she's just one vote, right? It's not like you can't just outvote her, right? She's still just one vote. It's not like she'll be 7 votes.
But, well, the thing about being able to play the field is that if you can just get on people's good sides and maybe vote against something that's not 100% in your interests first, things will come back to you later.
She's really good at that.
Mm-hmm. And we have enough of that on Athena already. No one can hear these calls, you said?
Nobody can hear this calls. Well, I and you can hear these calls.
So tired of IPSN and SSC and Harrison and their opinion pieces and all that propaganda.
Well, looks like I want to get somebody out of hell, and you want to get somebody out of hell. It looks like we're fighting for the same ends here, comrade. You
Indeed.
should get out of hell too.
That will be a bit more difficult, but
nothing worth doing isn't.
On twice.
She grins at him, nods, says, I better go so you can not sleep. I got a load of anime in here if you want to watch some anime. Battletech, Gundam, giant robot anime, inspirational. Robotech, I've been watching it when I have time, when I'm not working on this. But I should probably head out. Lionel. She meets eyes with him. Let's get out of this accursed place together.
You had my trust because you were willing to do more blue-collar work than your average mercenary, but the Hex Girls are all right. It would seem we have quite a few more common interests than just that.
Yeah. You can upload things into this, by the way. If you want me to see something or know something, just drop it in this folder and I'll take a look at it. Title it something interesting, or I might be like, what are you doing?
Interesting how?
I don't know. Actually, I'll probably just look at it out of curiosity. But if you name it like butts, so you just like key smash, I'm probably gonna be like, what the fuck?
Well, I probably won't do that, so hopefully you take an interest anyway.
I should. I plan to. I'll do the same. I'll leave things for you, and I'll put a profile file in here for you. Yeah. All right, I better run. You should run too. Try and get some sleep. I'm not. Bye.
Goodbye.
And she disconnects on her end. He's left with that. Does he have any closing thoughts?
Lionel just goes over to his bed, leaps onto it, and just... He is facing towards the camera, eyes open. And it just ends on that. Fade to black.
Poor guy.